Hey, welcome back to Logical A Meets World. I'm Cryptoglyphics. Before I get started on today's topic, which is the literal side of autism, I want to take a moment to share that over the weekend, I had a chance to be a guest on the WWAA podcast with Christy Mickelson. Christy Mickelson is a romance book author and a strong advocate for lupus and autism. I can tell you that it was probably one of the scariest things that I had prepared for. Probably even more scary than launching this fledgling YouTube channel that I have right now. But after that 90 minutes over the weekend of recording it, really, it was kind of a real kick to my own butt about how much I had let fear just rule me in how I lived, and how I really let it get the best of me for, a lot of things. Conquering that big fear last night of talking to somebody while it's recording, knowing that in about a week it's going to be aired and there are going to be so many more people who are going to know who I am. They're going to know a lot about me, was freaking scary. It just was. But getting through that on the other side, it gave me a boost of confidence that I probably haven't had since I got married, to be honest. And that was over 2 decades ago. So in the link, I'll link in the description below will give you a direct line to Christy Mickelson's podcast. I encourage you to go through and listen to some of them because I think they're really good. So, getting into today's topic on the literal side of the autistic mind, I can tell you firsthand, being autistic, that we tend to process what is written or read or seen in a very different way, which can make conversations and everything from social engagements to work especially challenging. Now, I can't tell you how many times I've heard this phrase, "Why do you have to take things so literally?" Now, before we get into that side of it, I thought I would go over a couple of things regarding language that maybe some people aren't aware of. When it comes to people speaking to each other, the words we use can have 2 layers of meaning. Now, you can have the literal meaning of what you're saying, but you can also have the figurative meaning of what you're saying. When it comes to being figurative in what you say to an autistic person, we are going to, most of the time, completely miss the point. Things like inference or things that your statement might imply, they're just not going to be there for us. A lot of autistic people will take the individual words and process them one by one instead of in a group. Determining how, the meaning of each word, not necessarily putting them back together to form a response that maybe you were expecting. Now, that being said, we do the best we can in response, in engagements. But again, this is just one of those limitations that many autistic people have. Now, it doesn't always come via just words and what we're saying, what's being said to us verbally. If there's an action item behind it, again, any type of implying or inference regarding things that you would want us to be action oriented about can be just as challenging. For myself, when someone asks me how, something I'm working on or a project is going, 9 times out of 10, I'm just going to say fine. I have no idea that maybe they're implying that they want to know or interested in knowing more about what it is I'm doing. When it comes to action items, sometimes my wife will ask me for help, and that's all I have to go on. So I go in there and I watch and I just look at her, and if she's holding something or reaching for something, again, she's asking for my assistance, but that's all I have. Any type of, she was meaning that I should help her put something up or anything like that, isn't going to reach me. And so, again, there are times where autistic people just need a lot more input because we will miss inferences or implied meanings in your statements or questions. Now, a lot of times this can drive people crazy, and I get it. But again, like I said earlier, we do the best we can with what we have. Our wiring is different. It's not something we asked for. It's just the way it is. It's just the way our wiring works. Now, while we're talking about the literalization that so many autistic people have, I want to be serious for a few minutes about this, because in the last year, I have seen retweets and tweets and stories about autistic people who, one, were brave enough to start a vlog or start a TikTok or start a YouTube channel or what have you on social media. And for autistic people, this is a big thing. We sometimes really suck when it comes to social engagements in real life. And this is just a nice alternative. But again, when it comes to text, again, when something is said, whether it's text or whether it's something caught, on video or a story, our responses are not necessarily going to match something that was inferred or implied. And to see stories and tweets and retweets of autistic social media personalities getting trashed, threatened, attempts to cancel or censor them for something that they replied, for a way that they replied, which wasn't something that was well accepted, to me is a bit ridiculous, especially when you know that these social media personalities have autism, that maybe, it's in everything from their hashtags to maybe even the channel type. And to do that to somebody who has it tough enough just trying to communicate in such a neurotypical world, I find ridiculous when there's so much information that's so easily attainable online. I mean, how hard is it to look up the term, what is autism? What is ASD? What is Asperger's? What is neurodiversity? Not that hard, honestly. To me, honestly, and I don't care what you think, I think it's a want-to thing. It's a thing where people are so overly emotional from my perspective as an autistic person. A lot of autistic people live in a very logical, very literal world. And again, like I said earlier, it's not something that we chose. It's something that we deal with in ways that you will just not understand. However, if you did take 10 minutes out of your day to look up what is autism, what is ASD, and get some sense of the challenges and the hurdles that we have to jump over, jump through, go under to live in a neurotypical world, maybe the backlash on so many of these people just wouldn't be. Maybe some understanding from people who literally don't know what it is you are saying sometimes, maybe cut some slack that way. Maybe take some time to consider that, especially when you know that they're on the spectrum. Now, I'm not wanting this to be some kind of angry rant or diatribe. What I would like people to do is actually just take a moment, take a breath when you are engaging with someone who you know on social media that is autistic. Again, I cannot stress enough how easy it is to find out what autism is and to go through and look at things that autistic people have to deal with that neurotypical people do not have to deal with. Listen, we're on this earth together, and for a finite amount of time, we are here and we live a life that we choose to the best of our ability. Autistic people want to live side by side with neurotypical people. We would like to have less distance between us. And even a modest amount of self-education on autism would go a heck of a long way in bringing neurotypical and neurodiverse people just a little bit closer than we are now. Because in the end, isn't that what we would like to have? I think it is, honestly. So I'm going to close today's video. I hope that what I've shared today has been informative and given you something to think on. If it has, please consider liking the channel. If you would like to have more content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel and ringing the bell so that you are made aware when the next video is uploaded. Until then, my fellow humans of Earth, I wish you a good week, and we'll see you next time.